Hey guys, and welcome back to PXH, also known as PureXHeart. Chris here, as usual, back again, obviously, with a album review, as you guys just saw by just clicking on this title. What is a surprise, an album review? Yes, there's no clickbait on this channel, so if you guys don't know, I have a podcast already. Before we actually get into this review, I have a podcast there. More on that on a little bit later. And also hit down that like button onto this video, and also comment down below what you guys also thought about this album. And also, if you're new here or return visitor, then hit subscribe and also hit that notify bell so you guys can be notified about new episodes for this channel. If nothing else, obviously, let's get into it. Homecoming is the latest album by the Grammy-nominated, very well-known established band, Bethel Music. That's right, Homecoming by Bethel Music. As you guys just saw by clicking on this title just a little bit while ago. Like I said, I was going to review this album as you guys clicked on this title, so there we go. And this is their 12th ever album, or at least compilation album. And so just a little bit background before we actually get into the little bit of the meat and a little bit of my thoughts onto this album. So a little bit of background for this album. So this album was recorded over 3 nights in July of 2021. And so the reason why it was kind of created, the creative director of Bethel Music, Christian Ostrom, who says, "This word homecoming carries so much weight, and in a very real way. All of us are in a season of coming home." And he later continues on, "These last few years we haven't seen each other's faces, we haven't gathered in public, and we haven't been with family. Home is such a necessary part of our lives, and we have all felt its absence. This album is the beginning of us going back to the quote-unquote why of Bethel Music. The beginning of us walking step by step toward the one who awaits us with open arms." And so this album is 16 songs, and it basically embodies everything that the group kind of stands for, as I just kind of said within Christian Ostrom's quote that he said. And it also marks the first time that the entire collective has appeared on the same album. That is not to get you guys' mind blown. This album is 16 songs, and it is very, very long. So I'm just warning you that, because that's going to be coming up a little bit later. So my initial thoughts for this album was there's going to be some hit songs and there's going to be some not so hit songs. And also, it's Bethel, so you don't know what you're going to get. You're either going to get some really good songs or you're going to get some not so great songs. And that's kind of what this album is. And so some of the good for this album is the new signee that Bethel Music has, Zaria Zachariah, who did a really, really, really great song. Actually, probably one of the best songs on Bethel probably ever, and I really enjoyed. I enjoy the theology of it. I enjoy this, what the whole song is trying to go for. It takes the Bethel long approach, and it just makes it just better, and that's the song Back to Life. It is one of the best songs that is out there right now, in my opinion. So if anything from this album that you guys get, definitely listen to Back to Life by Zaria Zachariah. Plus, if anything, just listen to her voice. She has one of the best voices right now. It's fantastic. And also the first song, Homecoming, which is done by one of my favorite artists, Gable Price. And also there's Corey Asbury, which I'll get to Corey Asbury within some of the bad. And also another highlight for this album is also the singer Dante Bowie, who is featured on 3 songs. And Dante Bowie within this album is kind of like doing his own little thing, which is kind of weird because all these other artists are just doing ballads and kind of like super strong, whereas Dante Bowie, he's on the song Weathered, which is kind of a different avenue from a lot of this album. It's very, very, I enjoy the song just from listening to it. I don't really get into that much of the lyrics wise, just because it'll just be so much stuff that it's so much. Sometimes their lyrics are just a little bit hard just to go through, just because it's a lot, just because they make these songs super long. So from listening to it, I actually really enjoyed that song. And then he's on the only really spontaneous that is actually labeled on spontaneous for this album, which is called He Reigns. It's not bad, but then again, it's different from the entire album. And then he's on the final song, which is Ring and Robe, in quotations, Welcome Home, which again is another different weird song, but all these songs kind of fit with him. I thought he did a really good job for just the songs that he sang on. He did a really good job. I feel like he did a better job on this album than he did the previous album, which is Revival. So there's that. And also, I have to mention this. They do a rendition of All Hail King Jesus by Jeremy Riddle, which is actually done by a female vocalist. So if you guys are trying to look for All Hail King Jesus, but done by a female vocalist, then definitely check out this one. I enjoy the song just personally, so hearing that song again is really, really great, in my opinion. So now we're actually going to be talking about the bad. The bad for this album is that it's 16 songs and it is super, super long. It is so long. It's almost 2 hours and it's 16 songs. And a lot of these songs just kind of overstay their welcome. Even some of my favorite songs are it's weird because when I was listening to Homecoming, which I'll get back to that one, it feels like it's split up into 2 songs. It's weird just because some of these songs just feel like that they're this song and then, oh hey, we're Bethel, so we need to add like 2 extra minutes to a song. Because some of these songs would be great if it's just cut down. So if you guys are looking to implement some of these songs into your worship set list, then cut like 2 minutes off for some of these songs and then you'll be good, okay? You guys don't need the extra stuff. Unless you guys want to have that extra stuff. But 2 hours and somewhat too much. So I can see why they recorded this over 3 nights. Also, another bad thing, I was going to bring him up a little bit later, and that's Corey Asbury. He does really good songs on this album, but they have like 2 kind of new people, I think. I know one of them is new. I don't know if the other one is new because I can't remember from the last album. But for Homecoming, it includes one of my favorite singers from a type of indie Christian band, Gabriel Price, who is from Gabriel Price and Friends. And he's on Homecoming, but he's barely featured on that album. And he only has like a few lines and he just says the same thing. And it's just like, no, come on. Give him more stuff, because he is a really, really underrated singer. He's from a really, really underrated band. And also, Corey Asbury is on the song Reason to Praise, which is featuring another one of my favorite artists, Naomi Rain. So that's just a personal thing for me, is you have 2 really great singers that aren't really prominently featured on songs. I get it. They're probably new. So like, hey, yeah. And I'll be like, okay, well, maybe they just don't want to have the new people be like, hey, here's a song. But then they change that whenever Zuria Zachariah, who is also featured on another song, Hymn of Heaven, which is featured by Brian, has Brian Johnson. But again, she's barely even featured on that song. So it's just like, she has an amazing voice. Feature her more. I'm just glad that she did, because one of my favorite songs, Back to Life, featured on that. It's her credential. Another part of the bad, you just got your typical Bethel stuff, okay? You got your long overdue, just long over songs, and just You guys are just looking for some old Bethel, then Wherever You Lead is definitely part of that. However, I just didn't like the song personally. And there's also a few songs that are on here that, since it's 16 songs, there's too much like stuff in there. So if it's just, again, this album just needs to be trimmed up a little bit, and then it'll be a perfect album. So besides that, add a few songs to your playlist. It's still a really good album. However, personally, I'm only going to come back to a few of these songs. I am going to like a few of these songs, and then I'm going to put them in my own worship playlist. So if you're including a set list, obviously, include the songs that you guys believe in. Just don't be like, oh, we're not going to sing this just because it's Bethel. Sure, do whatever you want in some aspect, okay? If you feel that conviction to not include a Bethel song, then sure, do that, okay? But if you want to include some of these songs because you have it by song basis, which in my opinion is the best way to go about with some of these songs, is just to not necessarily judge them, but kind of judge them by a song basis, which is the smart way, in my opinion, to go at. So I gave you some of my thoughts, so whatever you guys do with that, there's that. But if nothing else, hit down that like button for this video and also comment down below what you guys thought about this album and also what you guys want me to review, whether it be in past, future, present. You guys put it down in those comments and I will get to it. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new here or a returning visitor, and also hit that notify bell so you guys can be notified for new episodes. And also check out the podcast, as you guys just saw with a little teaser, basically like 30 seconds ago, give or take. If nothing else, go on Jesus who changed the culture. Boom. Bye.